This morning I had a meeting with a boutique owner here in Houston. So I probably, since I'm gonna have feathers here, that's all. I wanna let's go. Hello, it's Friday and let's check in. I have currently about 5 projects in rotation that is due within the next week. So that's what time we're on. Let me show you what I'm working on today. I have this super cute dress. It is a mini dress and I have appliques pinned onto it. It is a tulle, so like a stretch mesh dress that has this really powder blue finish to it, color. And we're gonna add appliques and feathers because that is what she requested. So this is a custom piece. I have some other pieces that I had fittings on earlier in the week that went really well, and so they're good to just like go to the completion phase. I want to show you the dress that in my last vlog that you might have seen, or this vlog, depending on where I ended up putting it all together once I edited it. The fabric, once I re-dyed it, turned out perfect. So she was very, very, very happy with it. I'm very happy with it. I love the color. Like, I'm looking at it right now and I can't tell the difference between the 2 fabrics, and that's beautiful. And yeah, I've always had a really good eye for color and like knowing how to blend colors to make them work together. And I think painting has allowed me to explore that even more. So when it comes to dyeing fabrics, which I have not done often, but there are a few occasions where I have to get a specific color, whether that be like a specific skin tone color, which we know skin tone is not just like one color that we can find in a bottle. So I had to blend different colors to find the right pigments, to find the right undertones to match the color to the client's skin color. And I was able to do that. So yeah, it was really good. I'm really happy with this dress. I'm happy with how it looks on her as well. That is the one thing about a lot of dresses that have like drapery and all of that. Like on the hanger, it looks like nothing. But my goal is like, I want it once it gets on your body to look fabulous. Right now, hanger appeal is not 100% what I need, but it is nice, especially when going into stores and retail, all that. And here is another dress, 3 out of the 5 that are in rotation that are due within the next week. 3 out of 6 actually, now that I look. Child. Lost track. Anyways, this is another one. Looks super cute. I think this may end up being in the same vlog, but as you can see, we got the velvet and it's quite heavy at the top, so it's just falling over, but it was cute on her. Okay, she loved it. I always like to record something that I feel passionate about, or that I've like learned or explored, or questions about that I'm curious about in my design process. Today, I was thinking about Houston, thinking about how I've been here for coming up on 19 years now. I moved here right before middle school and, spent most of my adult life here. And I think at times I wonder, like, okay, like obviously as a child, New York makes an impression on you. And there are certain things about myself that I know comes from the dynamic and environment that I grew up in as a child. But I was wondering, like, what influence has Houston had on myself as an adult? And I think one of the biggest influence I could say is not looking too much at like what other people are doing, like just focusing on yourself. I feel like when I was starting in my career, there was very much this in my mindset for staying in Houston, because I was very, very much wanting to go back to New York. But my whole mindset for being in Houston was like, this is a big fish. There's a lot of opportunities, and there's not that many people that are doing fashion, the capacity or scale that you want to do it. So do it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be a big fish in a big pond. And I think with that being said, in other cities that are saturated, like New York City, where there's a lot of people that do fashion, I can imagine that especially in your like early phase of starting a career, that it would you would constantly be like looking like, okay, what's this person doing? What's this person doing? But for me, I didn't really have that because there wasn't anyone that I was, not saying that there wasn't anyone doing anything at all during my early stage of my career, but I was not focused on them. It was just like, I'm doing what I'm doing. This is it. And this is what I'm growing. And I feel like that really was helpful for my formation of just me as a designer. Yeah, so I appreciate that about Houston. It's allowed me to stay focused on what I'm doing and not compare myself to anyone else. And of course, that builds a different type of confidence. I don't think I ever really lacked confidence when it comes to like pursuing design in my career. I felt very much compelled to like, oh, this is my mission. This is what I'm doing with this large lump sum time of my life until the next thing I transition to whatever next comes, but like, this is it. And so I never really felt, like a trepidation there, but I think that could also have been, or my location, my environment could have contributed to that. Because if there were like maybe so many people doing things that I wanted to do, and maybe I'll be like, oh, well, I have to be like this person, I have to be like that. Like, no, do you? So I salute Houston for that. I salute Houston for that. I salute just like how everything really does work out together. I know that like growing up in school, I've always been like, I'm an achiever. Like that's just something that I love. I love to set my mind on something, on goals, and work hard to achieve it. And I've always like in class and school thrived off of that kind of like friendly competition where you're like, okay, like I'm going to do this and like they're doing that. And so we're kind of like bumping into each other, but it's like we're actually helping each other move forward because you feel that. And I find myself kind of craving that. I don't know if it's companionship or what that would be called, like professional companionship. Where it's like you have people that are in the same industry. You don't see them as a threat, but like as like, oh yeah, let's go for it. Let's do this. I think as someone who is an achiever, that is helpful. I don't know. You guys write it down in the comments. Like, have you, or like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like if you're by yourself on an island and you feel like it's like, oh, okay, like, yeah. But like if you have someone, like if you're running next to someone, it's like, okay, yeah, we're doing this kind of together rather than like I guess I'm just going to keep running, you know? So I find myself wanting that more. I think I find myself wanting to be in the environment where there are more people in my industry, not just for the competitive and like endurance factor, but also to connect. And I think it's helpful. I think it's really helpful, especially at this stage in my career. Like I've been doing this for 10 years now. Is that right? I started in 2012. 13 years. So I've been doing it for 13 years now. And yeah, I want some playmates. I want some classmates. I want to like, let's go, you know? So I think that's why I'll be traveling a lot more, have been traveling a lot more, connecting with people more, of course, in New York City and abroad, because I'm just like, I want to create this network of people that we can all do this together, even if I'm not in that location, 365 days a year. There's still the opportunity to, sorry, I just got a text message. Yeah, there's still the opportunity to like find that creative companionship. Anywho, so that is what I have been thinking about as I'm working, and I will show you guys some more finished products. I think, like I said, there's all these things that are being in rotation within the next 7 days, so you may end up seeing it in the end of this vlog or the next one, but I am going to close it out with let's go back to work. Of course, you guys know my style. I would do it without any appliques or feathers. But when you have commission work, that's what you do. You do what the client asks. And it's a collaboration. because, you know, they come with an idea and I'm gonna offer something that is within my style, but that still meets what they want. That's why they come to me. They come because they want that collaboration. This is just a suggestion. You don't have to follow that. Oh yeah. It also helps like with the client knowing what their body type looks like. So I know that she's more fuller chested and I want to define her waist some. So I probably, since I'm going to have feathers here that's already going to highlight the hips, this placement I think is going to end up being somewhere along the waistline to add some dimension to her waist. That looks like an offshoot. Kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like this up here.
Now on to the next project, which is dyeing this French Chantilly lace into a beautiful deep plum wine color. I purchased this trim to incorporate into the dress for the edges, but I still needed to dye the lace because I could not find a lace in that color within this pattern. So the process for this dress ended up being a little bit different. I had to dye it not once, but twice to really achieve the color that I wanted. As you can see, I purchased a pre-mixed bottle that looked pretty close to the fabric color. However, whenever you're working with shades, you realize that some things have different undertones, and if it's just a tad bit off, it can be a dead giveaway. So after the first dye, I realized that it was just a little bit too light and too raisin color. Like, it needed a little bit more blue undertone. So I went and recolored the fabric and I was able to achieve the perfect mix. I'm so happy with how this came out, and the client also absolutely loved the color.
Hello vlog, it is Friday and let's give you a little studio recap. when I tell you this week has been very full, it has been deadline after deadline because we are at the end of the prom date month. So end of April, and it's like, yeah, we need to get things going while working on new projects for the summer. So today, what I'm working on is, I'm like, do I start with what I'm working on right now? I'll tell you what I was working on yesterday. I'll tell you what I was working on yesterday. So yesterday I had a fitting pickup for a prom dress. She loved it, beautiful. And then I also had a fitting for a dance project that I'm working on with an artist who's doing a music video, and I'm costuming the dancers as well as herself for the project. So I had a fitting with that team last night, and they are having another fitting tonight. So basically I'm taking the adjustments and just finishing everything up today for tonight. The shoot is tomorrow, and kind of bringing it this way, or breaking it up in this way, because for the fittings, it's a large team, so like getting everyone together, they'd rather have it during the rehearsal. So that, although it puts me up to the wire, it's perfectly fine because like I said, I've been really finishing and working on deadlines. So this morning I had a meeting with a boutique owner here in Houston that will potentially carry Heir of Grace, and it will be the very first store to carry Heir of Grace on the ready-to-wear side. So I am very excited.
Now that we're done chatting, let's get back to work. I am working on the remaining pieces for the dance project. Like I said, I had the fitting the other night and everything went really smoothly, so I'm just wrapping up the rest of the pieces before I drop them off. Just a quick backstory about this project. It is a story about a young woman exploring her Nicaraguan culture and heritage, so we really leaned into some of the indigenous colors. I noticed that there was a specific red that kept popping up in the research that I was doing, and I wanted to bring that to life through these pieces. I also decided to go with a bat wing kind of style because the dancers are going to make movements that creating big shapes and almost feel kind of like ghostly beings kind of moving around in the space. And so I wanted something that kind of diffused their silhouette but still allowed you to see that it was a human. And yeah, I'm really happy with how these pieces came together, and I thank you guys so much for watching this weekly vlog.